Thanks, everyone. I'm just gonna share my screen here. Okay, so hi, everyone. My name is Margaret. My presentation is on engaging youth in schools on sustainable development goals and their local connections. So I'm currently working at KWIC as a program facilitator. I'm really passionate about engaging youth and students in the wider community. My interests include climate change, food security, and health. And prior to joining KWIC, I worked at several NGOs in both the United States and Canada. I've also worked in academia in the UK, researching the impacts of the environment on health. And as part of KWIC's ongoing objective of building awareness of the Sustainable Development Goals in the Peterborough area, we launched a series of interactive online workshops targeting high school level students in partnership with Pathways to Stewardship and Kingship. And a central principle of the SDGs is the assurance that no one will be left behind. The Sustainable Development Goals and targets are really meant for all nations, all peoples, all ages, and all societies. And the universal nature of the SDGs stipulates that youth should be considered across all the 17 goals and their targets. So this really means that the SDGs apply to all the world's 1.2 billion young people, and youth education represents one of the most effective tools to further the SDGs. And we created a series of workshops that are aimed at expanding the students' knowledge of the SDGs and also empower youth to make informed decisions and to take action in building a more sustainable future. And furthermore, the workshops provided a valuable opportunity for students to participate in the local SDG movement. And we really feel that it is critical to actively engage youth and young people in the implementation of these Sustainable Development Goals, because it is really central to achieving an inclusive society for all, and also the overarching goal of leaving no one behind in the SDGs. So here's a quote by the United Nations, and they recognize that investing in youth is critical to achieving inclusive, equitable, and sustainable development for present and future generations. So I really like that quote. It really emphasized the work that we're doing. So we designed the SDG workshops by taking consideration of three basic components. So first, we looked at the class curriculum. So we researched and mapped out key connections with the SDGs to all the different classes taught in high school. And by using, sorry, just one moment, got a little distracted. And by using the SDG framework, which is the circle in the middle, we want to emphasize the principle of leaving no one behind in the workshops. And finally, the last circle on the right, we wanted to promote in-class discussions and key reflections by students. And we usually add thought-provoking questions throughout the workshops. And in addition to that, we also design really fun activities for students using online tools. And we usually have games and polls in those workshops. So during the past year, we hosted online workshops for over 630 students from grades 7 to 12 during the COVID pandemic. And here are some of the examples of the workshop activities that we designed and received from students. So for these activities, we really encourage students to make local connections so that they'll gain a better understanding of the concept discussed in the workshops. So as you can see, some activities include collaboration poetry, and this is where each student write one line of a poem and then pass it to the next person. And then we also ask students to make social media posts using their preferred platform. And you can really see the creativity shining through. And we created games and polls using online tools such as Kahoot, Slido, and Jamboard. And finally, after each workshop, we asked all the teachers and students to fill in our online survey to give us feedback and comments for future workshops so we can continuously improve. And the feedback we received are overwhelmingly positive, and all the students and teachers seem to enjoy the workshops. And I just have on the slide some examples of the comments that students left us on our Google form. And For next steps, we're really happy to announce that we will be continuing to deliver these workshops to students since we've have now received confirmed funding from funder, which is Pathways to Stewardship and Kingship. And yeah, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening to me today. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And thanks again. I'll pass it to Will.